When I moved into the old brick building on Hawthorne Street, I didn't think much about its history. The rent was cheap, the neighbors kept to themselves, and the creaky hallways gave it a kind of vintage charm. I took apartment 6A, right across the hall from 6B to unit that, for as long as I lived there, seemed empty. No one ever came in or out. The blinds were always drawn. Sometimes, late at night, I swore I could see a faint light flickering through the crack under the door, but I brushed it off. Maybe it was just an old storage unit. One night, after I had been living there for about 3 weeks, I met Mrs. Klein, the elderly woman from down the hall. She looked at me with tired eyes and said quietly, "You should stay away from 6B. I laughed nervously. "Why, is someone in there?" Her face tightened. "Not anymore." And with that, she shuffled away. That night, I couldn't sleep. Curiosity ate at me. I grabbed my phone and started searching. That's when I found it, an article from 3 years ago. Local man found dismembered in apartment 6B, no suspects. The article said a man named Daniel Cross, 34, had been brutally murdered in his living room. Police suspected a crime of passion. His body had been cut into pieces, and several organs were missing, but no one was ever charged. The apartment had been unoccupied since. I tried to shake it off, but over the next few days, I started hearing noises from 6B. Slow, deliberate footsteps. A dragging sound, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. Sometimes, there was whispering. One evening, as I was unlocking my door, I heard a faint voice from behind 6B's door. "Help me." I froze. My heart pounded. I bent down and peered through the keyhole. At first, I saw only darkness. Then, a pale eye opened on the other side and stared right back at me. I stumbled backward, my breath catching in my throat. My neighbor from 5C, a guy named Luke, came up the stairs just then. I told him what I'd seen. He smirked. "Don't mess with that place, man. Last guy who lived there wasn't right in the head." That night, I locked my door and wedged a chair under the handle, but around 3 a.m., I woke to a slow, rhythmic knocking. Not on my door, on the wall behind my bed, the wall I shared with 6B. I lay there, frozen, as the knocks grew louder. Then, silence. The next morning, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Slipped under my door was a folded piece of paper. In jagged handwriting, it read, "I can hear you." I didn't go to work that day. I stayed inside, calling the landlord over and over, but he didn't answer. Around noon, I heard someone unlocking 6B. I crept to my peephole. The door to 6B swung open just enough for a tall man in a dirty brown coat to slip inside. His face was hidden by a hood. He didn't look like a maintenance worker. He moved strangely, stiff, almost mechanical. Hours passed. Then, a smell started seeping into my apartment, a thick, metallic, suffocating, the smell of blood. By 10 p.m., I'd had enough. I grabbed my phone and started recording. I knocked lightly on 6B's door. No answer. I pressed my ear against it. Silence. Then, breathing. Deep, slow breathing, right on the other side. I backed away, heart racing, and that's when the door creaked open. The man in the brown coat stood there, holding something wrapped in a black garbage bag. The bag dripped onto the hallway carpet. "Can I help you?" he asked in a low, gravelly voice. I stammered, "No, sorry." He smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "You've been listening." Before I could react, he stepped toward me. I ran into my apartment, slammed the door, and called 911. By the time the police arrived, 6B was empty. No man, no bag. But in the middle of the living room was a large dark stain, still wet. The police searched but found nothing. No sign of forced entry, no fingerprints. They told me to stay alert and left. That night, I didn't sleep at all. Every creak in the hallway made my skin crawl. Around 4 a.m., I heard my doorknob jiggle, then slow scratching along the wood. I whispered into my phone to 911, barely breathing, as the sound grew louder. The dispatcher told me officers were on their way, but by the time they arrived, the scratching had stopped. 2 days later, I broke my lease and moved out, but sometimes, late at night, I still hear it. That slow, deliberate scratching, and I wonder, did I ever really escape apartment 6B?